Think of all these people complaining and complaining and saying this phrase. It's unfair! Think of all these things saying, it's unfair! It's unfair! You know what that's a talk of sign of? A sin of some kind. You know why someone will say it's unfair that they're not getting their way? That's a sin of gluttony. Get over it. Gluttony. Saying it's unfair that you're not getting your way. Think of the sin. Well, we just want one. We just want this one thing. And it's not fair that we don't have it. It's not fair that we don't have this one thing, that everyone is not of this one thing. What sin is that? It's not fair that they don't have this one thing, or this certain iota. This certain thing for everyone and everything has to have this one thing. Now what is that? That's a lust. That's not unfair. Everything doesn't have to share in what you choose, not even as one thing. Goes back to gluttony. What's gluttony? It's unfair that everything's not my way. Well, you know what? Gluttony is a sin. So what if everything's not your way? All creation is not yours. Think of greed. Well, it's not fair they have more than me. It's not fair that they have all this. And what do you get? What sin is that? That's a sin of greed. When you're saying it's not fair that you don't have all of something. You should be happy with just a little, with enough. Now think of the sin of wrath. Now this one's even more absurd unfair. It isn't fair I can't defeat them. It isn't fair I can't destroy them. Listen to the wrath in that. I mean, if something says, it isn't fair, you know, the first thing I check is what they want of sin. And then they're all, well, it isn't fair, we had to go through all this. But you know what? That isn't our fault. That is the sloth that you did choose. There is no reason why another should have to choose it the same. Yes, it wasn't fair to you to happen to you. But you know what? You causing it and you continuing to dwell on it and do of it is your own choice. So stop dwelling on it and it will no longer be unfair to you. I mean, if you stop and think and say to yourself, well, that's the past. Put it behind you and stop continuing to do it. If you continue to get in those situations and you continue to harm yourself, you know what? I don't agree with it, but you chose it, so it is fair. It isn't unfair, because it's what you chose. Sloth. I mean, if you choose something that's of harm to you, or harm, you gotta expect that it's not going to be fair. Think of the things you choose. Think of what you choose. And when you say something's unfair, think to yourself, does this have something to do with a sin? Is it gluttonous? Is it wrathful? Is it greedy? Is it lustful? Is it slothful? And then there's these other ones. Prideful. Well, it isn't fair that I'm not the best. It isn't fair that I don't succeed where others do. I mean, that might get you going, but I don't think it does you any good. If you want to succeed in something, then work hard and do it. Don't be screaming about it's not fair that you're not the best. Because that's just envy. Thinking that you are lesser. Oh, I can't succeed because they're so good. It's not fair they're so good. That's envy. It's not fair I'm better than them. That's pride. Can't you see that if you really want to succeed, you have to see it as, you know what? I'm in a competition with some very talented individuals, and what they compete and what they have done, I can do. I can choose and go after it. I can be a part of it and make it so that you are a part of it, not greater than it or lesser than it, than other individuals or other things, but a part. And then you have harmony with it, and you can start being a part of it. So when someone says something is unfair, the first thing I think is, why is it unfair? And if it leads to a sin, any one of them, gluttony, wrath, lust, greed, envy, pride, and you don't ask if it's coming of a sin or sloth. Why is it so unfair? Why is it unfair that your sins are not met? That what you want in sin is not met? What makes it so unfair that it is not met? What? Nothing. You know what? You're just sinning. There's nothing truly unfair about it. Is there? If you want it, you can go out there and get it. You can create it yourself. You can go out and do what you want to do. Don't be telling me that it's unfair. Because, if you're going to be of sin, yeah, life is going to seem very unfair to you. But if you're not, then you're going to be a strong fighter, a strong creationist in yourself. You're going to build and you're going to create as you want to create. You're going to do it yourself, and you're going to know the ins and outs. And others will say it isn't fair, that your success. And you'll know, if they just let go of those sins, the pride, the gluttony, the greed, the lust, the envy, the sloth, and the wrath, that they would be successful. But first they have to do what? What do you first have to do when you think something is unfair? Defeat the sin that is causing you to think so. If something is unfair to you, you think and you believe, look at why. And is it of a sin? Thank you for your time. Christopher David Clayton, the United, Unified Belief.